I hear the urgency in your spirit right now. There's a stirring you cannot explain. A restlessness that wakes you at night. A quickening in your soul that whispers, something is shifting. And beloved, you're not imagining it. Heaven has been working behind the scenes, faster than you could ever orchestrate on your own. Doors are opening that you didn't even know existed. Conversations are happening in the spiritual realm about your next season. And the angels assigned to your life have been given new instructions. Acceleration instructions. Movement instructions. Relocation instructions. You see, there are seasons when God moves slowly, patiently building your character, teaching you to wait, showing you how to trust in the silence. But this is not that season anymore. This is the season when everything speeds up. When what took others years will take you months. When what seemed impossible last year becomes your reality this year. When the place you've been praying about suddenly becomes available. And here's what I need you to understand. You're about to move fast. Faster than you're comfortable with. Faster than your logical mind can process. So fast that people around you will question if you're making the right decision. But the question that's burning in your heart right now is this. How will I know the place? How will I know I'm not just running ahead of God? How will I recognize what heaven has prepared when everything is moving so quickly? And beloved, that's exactly why I'm here today. To show you the signs. To give you the spiritual markers. To help you discern between human hurry and divine acceleration. Before we go deeper into this prophetic word, I want you to do something right now. Hit that subscribe button to God's Prophecy Message channel. Because you were led to this message for a reason. And there are more prophetic words coming that your spirit needs to hear. Comment the word "ready" if you sense this acceleration in your life. Give this video a like so this message can reach others who are also moving fast and need confirmation. And if you feel led, you can support this ministry through super thanks right here or donate through our Buy Me Coffee link in the description. Your support allows us to continue creating these prophetic messages that bring hope and clarity to thousands. Now let me take you deeper into the mystery of divine speed and the wisdom of knowing your place. There's a story in Genesis that most people overlook. It's about Abraham's servant who was sent to find a wife for Isaac. And what I want you to see is how fast everything moved once heaven was involved. The servant left with 10 camels and gifts. He arrived at a well in the evening. And before the sun set the next day, Rebekah had agreed to leave her entire family and travel to a foreign land to marry a man she'd never met. One day. Think about that. One single day for a life-changing decision that would affect generations. Was she reckless? Was she impulsive? Or did she recognize the hand of God, moving so powerfully that hesitation would have been disobedience? When the servant asked her family if she could leave, they said, "Let's ask the young woman." And her answer was immediate. "I will go." Not, "I need time to think about it." Not, "Can I pray about this for a few months?" Just, "I will go." Because when heaven is moving fast, your spirit knows. Your spirit recognizes the divine setup, even when your mind is still catching up. And beloved, this is where you are right now. You're standing at your own well moment. The place where heaven's plan and your physical reality are about to collide. Where what seemed impossible becomes suddenly, shockingly possible. Where the timeline compresses and what you thought would take years happens in weeks. But here's what I need you to hear. Fast doesn't mean forced. Speed doesn't mean stress. Divine acceleration has a peace attached to it that human hurry never has. Let me explain the difference. When you're running ahead of God, there's anxiety. There's a frantic energy that says, I have to make this happen now or I'll miss it. There's fear driving your decisions instead of faith. You feel like you're pushing doors open instead of walking through doors that heaven is opening for you. But when God is accelerating your life, there's a supernatural calm in the chaos. There's a knowing deep in your spirit that says, this is right, even though it's fast. There's a peace that doesn't make logical sense, given how quickly things are changing. You feel like you're being carried by a current instead of swimming against the tide. Proverbs 3:5-6 says, Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to him, and he will make your paths straight. Notice it says he will make your paths straight. Not complicated. Not confusing. Straight. When God is leading you to a place, the path becomes clearer the closer you get. Even if it's happening fast. Especially if it's happening fast. Because speed is often God's way of protecting you from overthinking, from talking yourself out of obedience, from letting fear have too much time to grow. Now let me give you the signs. The spiritual markers that will help you know you've found the place. The first sign is unexplainable peace in unlikely timing. You know it's the place when you feel peace that your circumstances don't justify. Maybe the timing seems off. Maybe you thought you'd move next year, not next month. Maybe the location wasn't on your radar at all. Maybe the opportunity came out of nowhere. But there's a peace in your spirit that whispers, this is it. It's the peace that Paul talks about in Philippians 4:7, the peace of God, which transcends all understanding. It transcends your understanding. It transcends your family's understanding. It transcends logic, timelines, and carefully laid plans. When you feel that peace in the middle of rapid change, pay attention. That's heaven's confirmation. I've watched believers miss their moment because they waited for perfect timing. They waited for all their questions to be answered. They waited for everyone around them to agree. And while they waited, the door closed. Because God's invitations often come with expiration dates. Not because he's trying to pressure you, but because his timing is connected to a bigger plan that you can't see yet. The second sign is that provision appears before you ask. You'll know it's the place when the resources show up in ways you didn't orchestrate. Maybe someone offers you exactly what you need before you mention your need. Maybe a financial breakthrough comes right when you're about to move. Maybe a contact reaches out with an opportunity in the exact city you've been praying about. This is what happened with the Israelites in the wilderness. Exodus 16:4 says, Then the Lord said to Moses, I will rain down bread from heaven for you. Notice it says, I will rain down. Not if you work hard enough, you might earn. Not if you figure it out, you might achieve. But I will rain down. When God is moving you to a place, he provides supernaturally. He goes before you and arranges what you could never arrange on your own. He opens bank accounts in heaven that release at precisely the right moment. And beloved, if you're seeing provision appear out of nowhere right now, that's not a coincidence. That's confirmation. That's heaven saying, we are funding this move because we initiated it. The third sign is that people you've never met start speaking life into your decision. You'll know it's the place when strangers become prophetic voices. When someone you just met says something that echoes what you've been praying about in secret. When a conversation with a new acquaintance confirms what you sensed in worship last Sunday. When people who don't know your full story somehow speak directly to your hidden hopes. This is what happened with Mary when she visited Elizabeth. Luke 1:42-43 says, "In a loud voice she exclaimed, 'Blessed are you among women, and blessed is the child you will bear. But why am I so favored that the mother of my Lord should come to me?'" Elizabeth confirmed what the angel had already told Mary. She gave voice to what Mary was still processing in her heart. And sometimes that's exactly what God does. He sends people across your path who confirm what He's already whispered to your spirit. Not to replace your personal discernment, but to reinforce it. Now, I know some of you are getting emotional right now, because you've been experiencing these signs and you thought maybe you were making it up. You thought maybe you were reading too much into things. But beloved, when multiple signs align, that's not your imagination. That's divine orchestration. Comment, "I see the signs," if you're recognizing these markers in your life right now. And make sure you're subscribed to this channel, because there's more prophetic insight coming that your spirit needs for this season. Give this video a like to remind yourself later that this confirmation was real. And if God is stirring your heart to support this ministry, you can do so through Super Thanks or our Buy Me Coffee link in the description. Every bit of support helps us continue creating messages that bring clarity to those who are moving fast and need to know they're on the right path. Now let's go deeper, because I want to show you something about speed that most people misunderstand. When God moves fast, He's not being impulsive. He's being strategic. He's been preparing this moment for longer than you realize. Think about the story of Esther. From the moment she was taken to the palace to the moment she became queen took 12 months of preparation. But from the moment Haman's evil decree was issued to the moment Esther had to act, there was no time to waste. Esther 4:14 says, "For if you remain silent at this time, relief and deliverance for the Jews will arise from another place, but you and your father's family will perish. And who knows but that you have come to your royal position for such a time as this." For such a time as this. That phrase is critical, because it reveals that God's timing is always purposeful. When He speeds things up, it's because the moment you're entering requires the exact positioning He's placing you in. You're not moving fast because God is in a hurry. You're moving fast because the assignment that's waiting for you in the new place is time-sensitive. There are people in your next location who need what you carry. There are opportunities in your next season that have a small window. There are connections that will only be available if you move when heaven says move. Delay would mean missing the divine appointment. And God loves you too much to let you miss what He's prepared. So He accelerates. He speeds up your process. He compresses your timeline. Not to stress you, but to position you. The fourth sign that you've found the place is a supernatural alignment of obstacles being removed. You'll know it's right when things that should be complicated become surprisingly simple. When paperwork that should take months gets processed in days. When approvals that usually require multiple steps happen in one conversation. When the apartment you love becomes available exactly when you're ready to move. When the job offer comes through faster than the company's normal hiring timeline. This is what happened with Nehemiah. He asked the king for permission to rebuild Jerusalem's walls, expecting resistance. But Nehemiah 2:8 says, "And because the gracious hand of my God was on me, the king granted my requests." The gracious hand of God. That's the invisible force that moves obstacles out of your way. That's the supernatural favor that makes the impossible possible. That's the divine speed that leaves you breathless because you know you didn't make this happen. And beloved, when you see obstacles dissolving in front of you, don't dismiss it as luck. That's heaven clearing the path. That's angels working overtime on your behalf. That's God Himself making a way where there was no way. Now, I need to address something that might be troubling your heart. Some of you are afraid to move fast because you've been hurt by moving fast before. Maybe you rushed into something years ago that wasn't from God. Maybe you made a decision based on emotion instead of discernment. Maybe you're still recovering from a choice you made too quickly. And now, even though you sense God moving, you're hesitant. You're second-guessing every sign. You're afraid to trust your own discernment. And I need you to hear this. Past mistakes do not disqualify you from present miracles. God is not punishing you by making you move slowly forever because you moved wrongly once. In fact, He's been teaching you discernment through that painful season so that you would know the difference now. You are not the same person who made that hasty decision years ago. You've been in the wilderness of waiting. You've learned to seek God's voice above all other voices. You've developed spiritual maturity that you didn't have before. And now, when God says move, you'll move differently. You'll move with wisdom. You'll move with prayer. You'll move with peace. Proverbs 24:16 says, "For though the righteous fall 7 times, they rise again." Notice it doesn't say if they fall. It says though they fall. Because falling is part of the journey. But rising again is the evidence of God's faithfulness. You fell before, but you rose. You learned. You grew. And now you're ready for the fast lane again. But this time, you'll know the difference between divine speed and human hurry. The 5th sign that you've found the place is a deep inner knowing that defies external opinions. You'll know it's right when you have an unshakable certainty, even when people question you. Even when family members say, "Are you sure about this?" Even when friends say, "That seems really fast." Even when your own logic says, "This doesn't make complete sense yet." There will be a knowing in your spirit that anchors you. A certainty that isn't based on having all the answers, but on hearing God's voice clearly. This is what Jesus demonstrated when he was 12 years old. His parents found him in the temple after searching frantically. And Luke 2:49 records his response, "Why were you searching for me? Didn't you know I had to be in my Father's house?" Even at 12, he knew where he belonged. He knew his purpose was more important than people's concerns. He knew that being in the right place was worth the misunderstanding. And beloved, when God is moving you, you'll have that same inner knowing. It won't come from arrogance or rebellion. It will come from intimate communion with the Father. From hours spent in prayer. From moments when he whispered directions that only you heard. From a relationship with him that's deeper than anyone else's opinion. And when you move from that place of knowing, you won't need everyone to understand. You'll just need to obey. Now let me talk about what happens when you arrive at the place. Because the confirmation doesn't stop once you get there. In fact, it intensifies. When you step into the place God has prepared for you, you'll experience what I call divine synchronicities. These are moments when everything clicks into place in ways that are too perfect to be coincidence. You'll meet people who have exactly what you need. You'll discover opportunities you didn't know existed. You'll find that the skills you've been developing in secret are suddenly in high demand. You'll realize that every season of waiting was preparing you for this specific moment in this specific place. It's like a puzzle piece sliding into its exact spot. There's no forcing, no striving, just a perfect fit that makes you say, "Oh, this is why I'm here." Romans 8:28 promises, "And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love him, who have been called according to his purpose." That word "called" is connected to placement. You're called to a purpose. And that purpose has a location, a timing, a specific set of circumstances. When you arrive at the place, your calling comes into focus. What seemed vague before becomes crystal clear. What felt like random experiences before suddenly form a pattern. What looked like wasted time before reveals itself as necessary preparation. And you'll weep with gratitude because you'll finally see how intentional God's been all along. Let me give you a sixth sign, and this one is powerful. You'll know it's the place when you feel spiritually activated in a way you haven't felt before. When you arrive, something in your spirit wakes up. Gifts you didn't know you had start manifesting. Courage you didn't think you possessed starts rising. Authority you've never walked in starts flowing through you. It's like you've been living at 60% and suddenly you're at 100%. This is what happened to David when he was anointed king. 1 Samuel 16:13 says, "So Samuel took the horn of oil and anointed him in the presence of his brothers, and from that day on the Spirit of the Lord came powerfully upon David." From that day on, not gradually over time, but from that specific day. Because certain anointings are location-specific. Certain gifts only activate in certain places. Certain dimensions of your calling only unlock when you're positioned where God intended. You might have felt like you were barely surviving in the last place. Like your gifts were dormant. Like your passion was fading. But that wasn't a reflection of your calling. That was a sign that you were in the wrong location. And when you step into the right place, you'll feel the difference immediately. Your creativity will explode. Your energy will return. Your sense of purpose will be undeniable. Because you're finally where you belong. Now, I want to talk about something that might feel uncomfortable. The speed at which you're moving is going to cause some people to fall away. Not everyone who was with you in the last season is meant for the next one. And that's okay. When God accelerates your life, He also accelerates the revelation of who's really for you and who's not. Some people will celebrate your move. Others will criticize it. Some will support your decision. Others will try to talk you out of it. And beloved, you have to be okay with that. You have to be okay with outgrowing relationships that were meant for a different season. You have to be okay with leaving behind people who don't understand your assignment. Not with bitterness, not with anger, but with the wisdom that knows not everyone is called to where you're going. Matthew 10:14 says, "If anyone will not welcome you or listen to your words, leave that home or town and shake the dust off your feet." Shake the dust off. Don't carry the weight of their rejection. Don't slow down to convince them. Just keep moving. Because the place you're going to has people who are ready for what you carry. They're waiting for you. They need you. And delay would mean they wait longer than necessary. If you're feeling this weight right now, comment "moving forward." Let that be your declaration. Your commitment to obey God, even when it costs you relationships. And if this message is ministering to your spirit, don't forget to subscribe to God's Prophecy Message channel. Hit the notification bell so you never miss a prophetic word. Give this video a like to help it reach others who need this confirmation. And if you're able, support this ministry through Super Thanks or our Buy Me Coffee link in the description so we can continue creating content that brings breakthrough and clarity. Now, let me give you the seventh sign. You'll know it's the place when you experience a specific kind of resistance. Not resistance that makes you doubt if you should go, but resistance that confirms you're on the right path. Let me explain. When you're moving into your God-ordained place, the enemy will fight you. But he won't fight you with confusion about whether you should go. He'll fight you with obstacles right before you leave. sudden financial challenges, unexpected health issues, relationship conflicts, last-minute complications. But here's the key. These obstacles won't change your knowing. They'll just test it. This is what happened to the Israelites right before they crossed the Red Sea. They were finally leaving Egypt, finally moving toward the Promised Land. And then Pharaoh's army showed up behind them. Exodus 13:13-14 says, Moses answered the people, "Do not be afraid. Stand firm and you will see the deliverance the Lord will bring you today. The Egyptians you see today you will never see again. The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still." The enemy came at the moment of movement. But God parted the waters anyway. And beloved, if you're experiencing opposition right as you're about to move, that's not a sign to stop. That's a sign that your move matters. That your new location threatens the enemy's plans. That your obedience is about to shift something in the spiritual realm. So don't back down. Don't retreat. Stand firm. And watch God fight for you. The 8th sign is that you'll feel homesick for a place you've never been. This is hard to explain unless you've experienced it. But there's a spiritual homesickness that happens when your spirit recognizes its destination before your body arrives. You'll think about the new place constantly. You'll dream about it. You'll feel drawn to it in ways that don't make logical sense. It's like your spirit has already been there in the heavenly realm, and now your physical body is just catching up. Hebrews 11:13-16 talks about this when it describes the patriarchs. All these people were still living by faith when they died. They did not receive the things promised. They only saw them and welcomed them from a distance, admitting that they were foreigners and strangers on earth. They were longing for a better country, a heavenly one. They were longing for a place they'd never physically been, because their spirits knew it was home. And right now, some of you are feeling that longing, that pull toward a city you've never lived in, that attraction to a region you've only visited once or twice, that inexplicable knowing that says, "I belong there." Don't ignore that feeling. That's your spirit aligning with heaven's plan. That's God giving you a glimpse of your future. That's the Holy Spirit creating anticipation for what's coming. Let me share something about divine timing that will encourage you. When God says it's time to move, He's already prepared the place for you. Before you arrive, He's been arranging connections. Before you step foot in the new location, He's been opening doors. Before you even pack your first box, He's been establishing your territory. Joshua 1:3 says, "I will give you every place where you set your foot, as I promised Moses." Every place where you set your foot. Present tense. Not "I will eventually give you," but "I will give you." As in, it's already yours. You're just walking into what's been assigned to you. This is why you can move with confidence. This is why you don't have to be afraid of the unknown. This is why speed doesn't mean carelessness. Because God has gone before you. He's prepared the way. He's made provisions. He's assigned angels. He's already spoken to the people who will help you when you arrive. You're not going into uncertainty. You're going into a setup. A divine setup. Now, let me address the practical side of this fast move. Because I know some of you are thinking, this sounds beautiful spiritually, but practically, how do I know I'm making wise decisions? Here's the wisdom part. When God moves fast, He still expects you to use wisdom. Speed doesn't mean you skip due diligence. It means you do your research quickly and trust your discernment. It means you ask questions, but you don't get paralyzed by needing to know everything. It means you seek counsel from trusted spiritual voices, but you don't give them veto power over what God has spoken to you. Proverbs 11:14 says, For lack of guidance a nation falls, but victory is won through many advisors. Notice it says many advisors, not many controllers. You should seek wisdom from people who know you and love God. But ultimately, you have to be the one who hears from God and moves. So practically, here's what you do. First, write down everything you're sensing. The nudges, the confirmations, the signs, the scriptures that keep coming up, the prophetic words that have been spoken over you. When you write it down, you create a record that you can return to when doubt creeps in. Second, pray specifically about concerns. Don't just pray generally, God, is this right? Pray specifically about finances. God, show me how provision will come. Pray specifically about relationships. God, confirm who's supposed to come with me and who's not. Pray specifically about timing. God, make it clear if this is the exact right moment or if I should wait a little longer. God answers specific prayers with specific answers. Third, move forward on practical steps while staying open to God redirecting you. Start researching the area. Look into housing options. Update your resume if it's a job-related move. Have conversations with people in that location. But do it all with an open hand, ready to pivot if God says stop. The key is action with surrender, movement with flexibility, preparation with peace. The ninth sign you'll know it's the place is when your gifts are immediately received. When you arrive and you start sharing what God's given you, people will be hungry for it. What felt like too much in the last place will be exactly enough in the new place. What felt like you were overwhelming people before will feel like life-giving water now. Because you're finally around people who need what you carry. This is what Jesus experienced. In his hometown of Nazareth, they rejected him. But when he went to other cities, they pressed in to hear him. They brought the sick for healing. They sat at his feet for hours. They recognized the authority he carried. Mark 6:4 records Jesus saying, "A prophet is not without honor except in his own town, among his relatives, and in their own home." Sometimes you have to leave the familiar to find the people who will honor what God's placed in you. And when you arrive at your place, you'll know because people will receive you differently. They'll value your voice. They'll make room for your gifts. They'll create opportunities for you to serve. Not because you're forcing it, but because there's a divine alignment between what you carry and what they need. Let me tell you something that might surprise you. The speed at which you're moving is actually protecting you. It's protecting you from overthinking. It's protecting you from fear having time to grow. It's protecting you from the opinions of people who would talk you out of obedience. It's protecting you from the enemy's schemes to delay your assignment. God knows that if you had too much time, you'd create problems that don't exist. You'd imagine worst-case scenarios. You'd let doubt whisper loud enough to drown out his voice. So he compresses the timeline. He speeds things up. Not to stress you, but to save you from yourself. Ecclesiastes 3:1 says, "There is a time for everything and a season for every activity under the heavens." Notice it doesn't say there's unlimited time. It says there's a time. Specific. Designated. Appointed. When that time comes, you have to move. Not next month. Not when it's more convenient. Now. And beloved, your time is now. The 10th sign, and this is crucial, is that you'll have a specific moment of clarity. A moment when everything clicks. When the fog lifts. When the confusion dissolves. When you just know. It might come during worship. It might come during a conversation. It might come in a dream. It might come while you're driving or cooking or folding laundry. But there will be a moment when God speaks so clearly that you can't unhear it. When He confirms so powerfully that you can't doubt it. And in that moment, you'll understand that all the signs were leading here. All the confirmations were pointing to this. All the whispers were building to this one clear instruction. Acts 16, 9-10 describes this kind of moment. During the night, Paul had a vision of a man of Macedonia standing and begging him, "Come over to Macedonia and help us." After Paul had seen the vision, we got ready at once to leave for Macedonia, concluding that God had called us to preach the gospel to them. We got ready at once. At once. Not eventually. Not after months of deliberation. At once. Because when the clarity comes, delay becomes disobedience. When God speaks that clearly, waiting becomes a waste. So if you haven't had your moment of clarity yet, it's coming. Keep praying. Keep listening. Keep positioning yourself to hear. And when it comes, move immediately. Now I want to address something for those of you who are already in the new place. You moved fast. You obeyed. You stepped out in faith. But now you're in the place and you're wondering, what next? Here's what I need you to know. The same God who moved you fast is now going to establish you. The speed was for the transition. But now comes the season of building, of putting down roots, of creating community, of stepping into the fullness of why you're there. Psalm 1:3 describes this. That person is like a tree planted by streams of water, which yields its fruit in season and whose leaf does not wither. Whatever they do prospers. Planted, not constantly moving, not always transitioning, but planted, rooted, established. So if you're in the new place, don't be discouraged if things feel hard at first. Don't panic if it's not perfect immediately. God didn't bring you there to abandon you. He brought you there to establish you. And establishment takes time. But it's worth it. Because this is where you'll bear fruit. This is where you'll see harvest. This is where you'll walk in the fullness of your calling. Let me pray for you right now. Close your eyes wherever you are. Take a deep breath and receive this prayer. Father, I thank you for every person reading these words right now. I thank you that you've been preparing them for this fast season, that you've been building their faith, that you've been sharpening their discernment. And now, as they stand on the edge of movement, I ask that you would give them supernatural clarity. Remove every obstacle that's not from you. Confirm every sign that is from you. Give them peace that surpasses understanding. Provide resources before they even ask. Connect them with the right people at the right time. And when they arrive at the place you've prepared, let them feel your presence so powerfully that they know without a doubt they're exactly where they belong. Protect them from the opinions of others that would derail your plan. Protect them from fear that would delay your timing. Protect them from doubt that would steal their confidence. And give them the courage to move when you say move. In Jesus' name. Amen. Beloved, before we close, let me leave you with this final truth. You were made for this moment. Every season of your life has been preparing you for this fast move. Every closed door taught you to trust God's timing. Every disappointment built your resilience. Every delay strengthened your faith. And now all of that preparation is about to pay off. Because you're entering a season where things happen quickly. Where prayers are answered rapidly. Where doors open suddenly. Where provision appears unexpectedly. And you're going to look back on this moment and say, I can't believe how fast God moved once the time was right. So don't be afraid of the speed. Don't resist the acceleration. Don't slow down to please people who don't understand your assignment. Just obey. Just trust. Just move. And watch what God does when you partner with His perfect timing. Isaiah 60:22 promises, "I am the Lord. In its time I will do this swiftly." In its time, I will do this swiftly. That's a promise. And beloved, it's your time. And God is about to move swiftly on your behalf. So get ready. Pack your bags. Prepare your heart. Position yourself. Because you're moving fast. And this is how you'll know the place. By the peace that transcends understanding. By the provision that appears before you ask. By the people who speak life into your decision. By the obstacles that supernaturally dissolve. By the inner knowing that defies external opinions. By the spiritual activation you feel when you arrive. By the resistance that confirms you're on the right path. By the homesickness for a place you've never been. By the immediate reception of your gifts. And by the moment of clarity that makes everything click. These are your signs. These are your confirmations. These are the markers that heaven has placed along your path, so you'll know you're exactly where you're supposed to be. So move with confidence. Move with faith. Move with the assurance that God has gone before you. And when you arrive, when you step into the place He's prepared, you're going to see why the speed was necessary. Why the timing had to be now. Why you couldn't wait another year. Because there are people waiting for you. There are assignments waiting for you. There are breakthroughs waiting for you. And delay would mean they wait longer. But you're not going to delay. You're going to obey. And that obedience is about to open doors you never imagined. Before you go, I need you to do a few things. First, if this message spoke to your spirit, hit that like button right now. Let it be your agreement with what heaven is doing in your life. Second, subscribe to God's Prophecy message channel and turn on the notification bell. Because there are more prophetic words coming that your spirit needs to hear for this season of acceleration. Third, leave a comment. Tell me what sign you're seeing. Share what God is confirming in your heart. Let your testimony encourage someone else who's reading these words. Comment, "I'm moving," if you're ready to step into your place. Comment, "I see the signs," if you're recognizing the confirmations. Comment, "I'm ready," if this word is activating your faith. Your words have power, and when you declare what God is doing, it strengthens your resolve and encourages others. Fourth, share this video with someone who needs it. You know someone who's been sensing this same acceleration. Someone who's been questioning if they should move. Someone who needs confirmation that they're hearing God correctly. Send this to them. It might be the word that pushes them into their destiny. And finally, if God is stirring your heart to support this ministry, you can do so through super thanks right here on this video, or you can donate through our Buy Me Coffee link in the description. Your support allows us to continue creating these prophetic messages that bring hope, clarity, and breakthrough to thousands of people around the world. Every donation, no matter the size, helps us reach more people who desperately need to hear that God is still speaking, still moving, still orchestrating their lives with perfect precision. Remember, beloved, you're not just moving to a new location. You're moving into your destiny. You're moving into your purpose. You're moving into the fullness of what God created you for. And the speed at which it's happening is proof that heaven is invested in your success. So trust the process. Trust the timing. Trust the signs. And most importantly, trust the God who's been faithful to you through every season and who will be faithful to you in this one too. I'm believing with you for supernatural clarity. for divine confirmation, for accelerated provision, and for the courage to move when God says move. You're going to make it. You're going to arrive. And when you do, you're going to look back and say, "Thank God I didn't let fear stop me. Thank God I trusted the signs. Thank God I moved fast when He said move." This is your moment. This is your time. This is your season. Now go and watch what God does.